gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Drew has worked the count to 3-1 against Hunter. And he swings and drives one deep to right center field. Pierce back, still back, and that ball is gone! See ya! A pinch hit grand slam for Stephen Drew, and the Yankees have taken the lead 6-4. So from the joy of last night, an overcast afternoon, most of the morning too today in Baltimore, but it looks as if we are going to have baseball here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And it is time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Baltimore Orioles at Oriole Park at Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Hello everybody and welcome to Yankees baseball along with Al Leiter and Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees have won 2 in a row yesterday by a score of 6-5, and the big blow that you just saw by Stephen Drew, it came about because Brett Gardner got hit by a pitch in the first inning.
First inning, his next 2 times up, he bunted, but this was not a bunt situation. Yankees down by 2, bases loaded. Pinch hitter Stephen Drew at the plate. 3-1 count, high fastball, deep to right center field. Just like that, the Yankees had a lead. A pinch hit, grand slam home run. The first for the Yankees since 2001 when Jorge Posada hit a pinch hit grand slam against the Baltimore Orioles.
Let's take a look at tonight as the Yankees try to make it 3 in a row. The pitching matchup brought to you by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do. Miguel Gonzalez will get the start for the Orioles, and for the Yankees, it's CC Sabathia. In his first start of the year, Al, he pitched okay with 8 strikeouts, but he had that one bad inning.
Yeah, that's right, Michael. And the line's not going to look good. He got into the 6th inning, the 5 runs, 4 earned, and this is that 2nd inning. A lot of C&I singles. I thought he had a good 2-seam changeup combination. See Jose Reyes going the other way. Did settle down through a few scoreless innings, got in trouble in the 6th inning. That slider at times was unhittable. You mentioned the 8 strikeouts, very effective. Be interesting to see here tonight how he is using both sides of the plate. CC Sabathia, pretty strong start.
So we'll see how CC does. The Yankees are trying to get their ducks in a row. Let's see if they can do it by making it 3 in a row. Lineups, first pitch, baseball, Yanks O's next, right here on Yes. By Chase, with more ways to serve you in your neighborhood and on the go. By Mazda. Mazda is KBB.com's lowest cost to own brand in over 5 years. By Subway Restaurants. Get any footlong for $6 or less, April only. Subway, eat fresh, limited time only at participating restaurants. And by RE/MAX. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Well, there was some worry about whether or not this game would start on time. It's been raining all day here in Baltimore, but it stopped right around 6 o'clock, and they took the tarp off about 6:30, and here we are ready to start on time. Yankees against the O's. Miguel Gonzalez on the mound. This is the Yankee starting lineup that he's going to face, presented by Lexus. Jacoby Ellsbury in center field leads off. Batting second, playing third base, Chase Headley. Carlos Beltran's in right field. He'll hit third. Cleaning up first baseman Mark Teixeira. Brian McCann back behind the plate, and he will bat fifth. Batting sixth and DH in Garrett Jones. Chris Young's in left field. He'll bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing second base, Stephen Drew. And D.D. Gregorius, the shortstop, will bat ninth.
On the mound for the Orioles, Miguel Gonzalez, a 30-year-old right-hander from Guadalajara, Mexico. See his one start, very good start. 5 2/3 innings, only 3 hits. Faced Jake Odorizzi through a shutout ball. 2-0 loss at Tampa Bay. Let's take a look at the pitcher scout report, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Consistent starter. That's what he's been since he's been with the Orioles. Here's a guy that was signed by the Angels. He was a Rule 5 by the Red Sox, released, and the Orioles picked him up. Not overpowering. He's going to be right around that 90-mile-an-hour fastball mark. He's got a slider, curveball, and changeup. His slider's a little better than his curveball. Just a true pitcher in the sense of using all of his pitchers in good command.
All right, so second game of this 3-game set. Yankees 3-4, and Baltimore is now 3-4 on the season. Jacoby Ellsbury digs in. He's ready. Miguel Gonzalez is ready. And let's do it here in Baltimore. Foul back. We're underway.
Another pitch that Gonzalez likes to use, a split changeup, and that's been the one that's been pretty effective against the Yankees during his time in Baltimore. Ellsbury had 2 hits last night, jumps his average up to near 300.
8 hits and 27 at-bats in the early going, and that one was lofted foul down the left field line. A long run for De Aza. He cannot get there, and then it bounces into the seats. Let's get you set up with the umpires. Gary Cederstrom behind the plate. Sean Barber is at first. Eric Cooper at second. Lance Barksdale is over at third. And Gonzalez deals. Upstairs. Brett Gardner probably out until Friday. Tomorrow's the finale of this series. Thursday's an off day. Then the team will be in St. Pete to meet the Rays. And Meredith Marakovitz will have more on Brett's status a little bit later on. The 1-2. Right back to Gonzalez. And there's one away. Let's check out the Orioles defense presented by Geico. In the outfield, it's De Aza, Andrew Jones, and Delman Young left to right. Infield, Machado, Everett Cabrera, Jonathan Scope, and Stephen Pierce third to first. Caleb Joseph behind the plate. We told you all about Miguel Gonzalez on the mound. Here's Chase Headley off to a very good start, 12 for 27 this season.
Michael, it's interesting you said that didn't stop raining until about 6 o'clock, but when you look at the field, it looks as though it didn't rain at all. I mean, with these new drainage systems that they have at the ballparks around Major League Baseball, you know, you saw a long run by De Aza. You didn't see a splash anywhere as he was running to catch that foul ball, or at least to try and catch it.
I want to correct myself on Headley. He's 6 for 27. I looked at the wrong column.
He's still got a couple home runs, though.
Yes, he does.
And wearing your glasses.
Well, you know what? See, Al, I looked at the total bases column. It's all my fault.
Oh.
So feel free to jump me if you'd like.
No, I'm good with it.
The 2-1. Driven out to right center. And Adam Jones on the run, and he makes the play. Jones is a Gold Glove caliber center fielder, and he hauled that in. Went a long way to get it. for the second out.
Yeah, that was last year. He won his 4th Gold Glove, and shows you how he did it. Great range in the outfield and center field, capable of making a spectacular play. This is a very good one, as he hauls it in just a few feet in front of the wall and deep right center field. Now free to move around center field.
Here's Carlos Beltran. And a strike. Beltran struggling out of the gate. 4 hits and 28 at bats.
The Yankees would like to see him get going.
That one is driven to right field. Young back on the track at the wall, and it's off the wall. Young plays the carom, fires it in, and Beltran with a 2-out double.
Oh, maybe that's the start.
Yep.
Although Beltran last night went 0 for 4, the previous night at Yankee Stadium he had his first multi-hit game of the season, and he turns on this one, doesn't miss a home run, but by a few feet, Al.
I thought off the bat it was that. Yeah, a couple feet. High fastball, turn it on him.
So 2 well-hit balls. Headley's was run down, and Beltran gets a double. Here is Mark Teixeira. Mark had a home run in last night's game, batting right-handed, his 3rd home run of the year. 5 hits and 21 at bats so far.
It's interesting, the Orioles do not put the drastic shift on with Teixeira at the plate here, like we see many other teams employ. Cabrera on the left side of second base. It's a shortstop, not moved over to the right side.
Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 57 degrees, not much wind, humidity 71%, and there are showers possible in the forecast. Dressed for that eventuality. The 2-0. There's a strike.
Well, you see the 2-0 fastballs that Mark Teixeira takes, and I know certain guys like to go deeper in the count, but when you got that fastball and it's a fastball count, let it fly.
I think he was zoning in, though. That might have been over the outer half. He's looking for something that he can pull, looking for a mistake. And that was it right there, and he didn't hit it.
Well, there you go from 91, 92, Kenny, to the changeup. Gonzalez has a good change, especially the left-handers.
Teixeira with the home run last night. We told you he had a hitting streak going. It's now 5 games, but he's had 1 hit in each game.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second, just underway, top of the 1st inning. Just got a piece to stay alive.
I'm looking at Delman Young in right field. He must have learned from Nick Markakis. Even though a left-handed pull hitter is at the plate, he's guarding the gap in right center field.
The 2-2.
And the reason being because anything hit in this direction in the air is probably going to get out of the ballpark anyway. So, and anything hit in the air in that direction is probably going to hit off the scoreboard. It's very hitter friendly in the right field corner. So you guard the gap, the deepest part.
Swing and a miss. Got him off speed. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 man left. It's the Yankees nothing. And the Orioles coming to bat against CC. lineup. Everett Cabrera, the shortstop, leads off. Manny Machado at third will bat second. Adam Jones in center field hits third. Steve Pearce will play first base today, cleaning up. Batting fifth, playing right field, Delman Young. Chris Davis, the DH, he'll bat sixth. Batting seventh, and playing second base, Jonathan Scope. Caleb Joseph will catch, he'll bat eighth, and batting ninth, and playing left field, Alejandro De Aza.
CC Sabathia on the mound. His second start of the year, this young season. Talked about in the open his start against the Toronto Blue Jays. Numbers look worse than I think how he really pitched. I like the 0 walks and the 8 strikeouts. Let's take a look at the pitcher scout report. Brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. The 208 wins, I just want to establish this guy. 208 wins at 2,827 innings. That's second among active pitchers behind Tim Hudson. Third in innings behind Mark Burley and Tim Hudson. The two-seamer changeup, that I think is a combination we're going to see a lot more of this year. That ball away, a little fade, and then that power slider inside of the right-hander. And game plan management. You know, when you get a little bit older, the stuff's not the same. You kind of look at the lineup as a whole and figure certain guys out that you want to face or maybe bypass to get to the next guy.
Cabrera takes a strike. Guy who did that all the time, Al, was El Duque.
David Cohn. I mean, but you know, you get to a point, Michael, where, you know, look, we're going to keep talking about it. You know, if you once upon a time had dominant stuff, and what is stuff correlated to? Velocity, right? So we keep talking about his velocity out there. You can manage the game. I remember talking to Tom Seaver about it. He would eliminate, his theory was eliminate 2 guys from the 5th inning on. This was Tom Seaver. And I'm thinking, well, if Tom Seaver's going to eliminate 2 guys 5th inning on, anybody else should.
How many did you have to eliminate?
About 5. No, but it really is. It's just smart pitching. You know, we'll see tonight. You know, you get behind if 2-0, 2-1, 3-1 count, and how you manage that. Pitch backwards, you know, throwing a breaking ball. He threw 25 pitches last start. CC were changeups. 25% of his pitches at 95.
Strike 3. Everett Cabrera down looking. Let's check out the Yankee defense. Brought to you by Geico. You've got Young in left, Ellsbury in center, and Beltran over in right. In the infield, it's Headley, Gregorius, Drew, and Teixeira third to first. McCann behind the plate, and Karsten Charles Sabathia is on the mound.
Yeah, by the way, CC just struck out his first hitter tonight. When if he gets to 3, he will tie Andy Pettitte on the all-time strikeout list. At 36, they will have 2,448 apiece.
You know, just talking about the scout report, two-seamer changeup. This is Cabrera. This is an 88-mile-an-hour fastball, perfectly located on the inner third. After two-seamer away, changeup, you know, you get guys thinking off speed away, and you can lock guys up at 88 to 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Especially in a day and age where, you know, that's all we seem to see. Watch baseball games that guys throwing 95 to 100 miles an hour.
I mean, the template that you use for that, a guy who doesn't throw 90 anymore, was Mike Mussina in his final season in the big leagues when he won 20 games for the first time and was commanding the inside corner at 88.
He learned how to soften up as opposed to trying to throw harder.
Machado with a high fly ball to center. Ellsbury's there, and he'll put it away for the second out. Here's Adam Jones with 3 home runs and 9 runs batted in. Had a home run yesterday against Michael Pineda, hitting .440 in the early going.
One thing Jones did last year is one of the best hitters against lefties in Major League Baseball. Hit 9 home runs off lefty pitching and hit almost .350. And that's what he's done against CC. That's not bad at all.
You know, I think it's fair to say Adam Jones, and it kind of goes under the radar. I don't know how you feel about this, Kenny, but you look at his statistics since 2012. He's right up there with the McCutchens and the Trouts as one of the best outfielders in the game.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that I think that holds him back, as opposed to those other 2 players you just mentioned, his on-base percentage. Just because he very rarely walks. Speaking of Jones. You know, Trout's going to walk, McCutchen takes his walks, and their OBPs are a lot higher.
That one is driven to left field and deep. Going back Young. Track. Wall. See ya. Home run. Adam Jones, 1-0 O's.
He's hotter than hot right now. You got to be very careful with him. He's very aggressive. And I believe he hit 8 home runs in the first inning last year. So he doesn't go up there taking. Let's see, the pitch is supposed to be in. And it just missed by a couple of inches. But that's all it takes right now for Adam Jones. Just got too much of the plate, and he just drilled it.
Here's Steve Pearce. Now, one thing that you see what Adam Jones has done against Sabathia lifetime, 316, now 4 home runs. Sabathia took great pride in the first start of the 8 strikeouts and not allowing a home run. The home runs really hurt him last year while he was pitching early before being shut down with a knee problem. The year before that, a lot of balls left the ballpark. So that's his first home run allowed this year, and here his second start. The 1-1.
Well, I know it's only the first inning. I'm talking about the game management. Adam Jones, we just showed his numbers. Now 4 home runs lifetime and 57 at bats. Steve Pearce is only 9 at bats, not much of a history, 222. Yes, it's the first inning. I'm not saying to nibble and pitch around guys right out of the chute, but as the game goes along, be mindful of that.
Could not hold up. 2 strikeouts for CC in the first inning, but he does allow the solo home run to Adam Jones. Jones' 4th home run of the year, second against the Yankees in this series. We go to the second, 1-0 O's.
Montefiore Medical Center, Montefiore-inspired medicine. You see there, Brett Gardner out of today's lineup. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning yesterday, and after the game, he said as that game went on, he started to stiffen up a little bit. Now, he was sent for precautionary x-rays. Those came back negative, but Joe Girardi said right after it was done, he was hoping that he'd be back in the lineup by Friday. Obviously, he'll check in with him tomorrow. If he can go tomorrow, Joe Girardi won't hesitate to put him in there, but it looks as though Friday may be a little bit more realistic. But guys, the second time this season he's been hit in the wrist, this time a little bit more flush, a little bit more damage. Last time didn't miss any time.
And he did hang in there for those 2 bunts, but then he did tell Joe Girardi, listen, I'm not the guy to hit in this situation. Maybe you should send up a pinch hitter, and he sent up Stephen Drew, and as we told you earlier, Drew hit the grand slam. Brian McCann with a 1-1 count. Popped up. Long run from Machado. And it's into seats.
Well, Gardner hit just about the same spot. This is against Toronto, and that's Aaron Loop who got him, a left-hander. You can see Loop maybe tough to pick up. And last night, same situation. A left-hander gets him. He tries to hang in there. But it's Wei-Yin Chen who drills him on that same right wrist.
Tried to pull the outside pitch, and a ground ball to Cabrera. One away.
Yeah, I can tell you guys, lefty on lefty, you just don't see it as much because most left-handed pitchers, left-handed batters, they platoon. So you face mostly righty. That's a small window. You look at where Brett Gardner stands. He's up on the plate. Hang in there. What's going to get a lefty to get a lefty out? Something breaking, going away. So it's a tough proposition in the sense of what Gardner's trying to do, stay in there, but yet there's a very small window of a pitcher not hitting you.
Now, there's a chance that we could see Gardner today as a pinch runner, or even in the outfield, say in the 9th inning. Joe is going to check with him, but in all likelihood be able to do that. But with the injury, probably doesn't feel comfortable swinging it back just yet. Slow roller off the bat of Garrett Jones, and those 2 away. Also, you notice when we showed Meredith, a little known fact about Meredith, she always carries the pictures of all the broadcast crews from around Major League Baseball, and she puts them up in the booth so she feels comfortable around the colleagues, and that's a really nice thing that she does. I don't know if you saw that in the shot.
Yeah, no, I did see that.
Yeah. Here's Chris Young now. Now, see all those pictures there? Meredith insists on carrying them all around, and then she hangs them up meticulously. Good job, Meredith.
That's not me, Michael. Come on. But hey, what's wrong with taking all your friends with you?
That's a great way to look at life.
That's it. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
That you guys do that.
No, we don't do it.
No,
you mean them.
Yeah, them, not you guys.
So them is different than you guys.
Smitty, okay?
The 0-1. There's a line drive, base hit down the right field line. Cutting over is Delman Young. He'll get the ball on the warning track, but Chris Young, who's gotten off to a nice start, gets a 2-out double.
Well, we saw Chris Young with a home run here last night. He also had a single. He's a triple away from the cycle here in Baltimore over a period of games, but this time just goes with it. Out over the plate, runs it to the corner. Delman Young, no relation, it's going to come into the picture here as he runs it down, and Chris Young's going to come into your picture on his way to second base.
I love it. It's a great job of hitting, staying on it. Gonzalez is not easy against right-handers. That breaking ball going away, go the other way. And yesterday, Kenny, you mentioned the home run that Chris Young had off the left-hander with the slow curveball coming inside. Home run to left.
As Michael said, he's off to a pretty good start here. That was his second double of the year.
He's now 6 for his first 15. Remember what a poor start he got off to with the Mets when he signed a 1-year deal with them, and they eventually released him. Yankees picked him up toward the end of the season. He played well for them, and they said, well, let's sign you again, see if you can do it. 1-1.
Stephen Drew, last night's hero. We mentioned it was his 99th big league home run. His brother JD has 242, but there's 6 pairs of brothers who have hit at least 100 home runs apiece. So he's about ready. His next one will make it 7 pairs of brothers. And let's see if we can get into this after the Boyers, Ken and Cleet, the Boones, Brett and Aaron, the Alomar, Sandy Jr. and Roberto, the Uptons, Melvin Jr. and Justin, and the Youngs, Dimitri and Delman, and one more pair of brothers, the Musels, Bob and Irish. So the next home run, they'll be able to join that list.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 1-0 Orioles. We're in the second inning. Runner on second for the Yanks.
And it just missed.
Cederstrom looked like he twitched, but he did not go up with the right hand, so it's 3-2.
Let's see the twitch, Gary. Cederstrom. Now that's inside a little bit. Anytime you see the catcher pull the glove back a little bit, as I believe Joseph did.
The 3-2. And Drew works a walk. Runners on first and second, 2 outs, and that brings up Gregorius. Well, this is not the start that D.D. Gregorius had in mind. 3 for 23, struggling on the base path, some mistakes in the field as well. And he needs a big hit, I think, to calm himself down. He's saying all the right things, but you've got to prove it on the field. Now is an opportunity to tie the game.
Well, the outfielders are playing shallow, but Chris Young at second has decent speed.
One and one.
That's what makes Miguel Gonzalez so tough to hit. Here he is batting a guy struggling, a 9-hitter. Kind of pitched around Stephen Drew, was careful. 1-0 count, first pitch curveball, ball, and then it comes back to the slider. Very unpredictable.
1-2.
And that's pitching. When you don't have that electric arm, you pitch. Using 2 breaking balls. In fastball counts, you use your changeup. Be mindful of spotting the ball, keep it down. All of that stuff that you tell a little leaguer or a high schooler.
You know, the very good pitchers are the ones that have the electric arm and they can pitch too. That's somebody like you mentioned, Tom Seaver.
Those are your Cy Young guys.
1-2. Fouled away. This was an emergency hack by Gregorius.
And that's because of the assortment of off speed. That's a good fastball inside corner, probably around 90. And Gregorius kind of mindful of just put the ball in play, think middle of the field, and getting jammed on it.
The 1-2.
Well, that was a better swing, and that fastball was in even farther. This is a typical protect mode in a bat right now with the 2 strikes.
Well, Cabrera goes in and talks with Gonzalez. Chris Young's at second. Stephen Drew's at first. It's 1-0 Orioles on Adam Jones' home run, bottom of the first. Yankees have 2 hits against Gonzalez. The 1-2.
There's a mistake right there. Change up.
It's coming right at you. A duck. Is that Tad Davis down there?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Tad. Tad's pretty quick, though.
Swing and a miss. In the dirt, they throw to first. They get Gregorius as his struggles continue. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 O's. the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. Conversation started with this: have you noticed any changes in the pace of MLB games this season? Brian Brown 12 said yes, the rules aren't being enforced yet, but the pitchers seem quicker to the mound and hitters are staying in the box.
Yeah, we've been noticing that when innings change, the pitcher's the first one on the field most of the time. They get out there and get their warm-up tosses in.
That is the most discernible difference that each team, manager, players are noticing. And so far, I know it's early, but the average game is under 3 hours.
Average 9-inning game, because you don't want to throw in the Yankees 19 innings, 6 hour and 49 minute game.
Al wasn't there that night.
I was watching.
You
whole stayed thing? The whole time?
Watching?
The whole day.
No. I fell asleep.
Were you laughing at us, Al?
I was going to text you, but I didn't think it was right.
We appreciate that.
You know, so many people, and Kenny, I'm sure you've gotten this too.
Yeah.
How did you guys do? I mean, I don't want to sound Pollyanna-ish, but it was great. It was a great time. It was a fun game, and you know, you do the longest game in Yankee history. That would be kind of neat. So I wanted to go on for 25 innings.
Well, the only problem I had with it, Mike, it was pretty darn cold.
That was a base hit to left field.
That was a breaking ball, kind of hung up there, and Delmon Young, very good hitter against left-handed pitching. That's why the Orioles have him on his team, plus his ability to come off the bench and hit. This one kind of hangs a bit. You can see it kind of just rolled middle in, and it's Delmon Young territory. And this time it's a base hit.
Here's Chris Davis.
Sombrero yesterday.
0 for 4, 4 strikeouts. And a strike.
Tonight, Davis is the designated hitter.
Grounded to first. Teixeira, 1. On to first. Nobody's covering. CC never got over. And he usually doesn't. I know he has the bad knee, but even before he had a bad knee, there was a couple of years where he didn't have a put out. So CC did not get over on that. It's not fair to expect Drew to get there.
Yeah, Drew is playing back because it's a left-handed hitter. And that's more or less a courtesy throw to first, just in case Davis had fallen down on his way there. But CC's kind of a pedestrian standby.
Well, it's not Stephen Drew's play. I mean, just no. you don't think of it that way. And yes, CC has had the knee surgery, and it's difficult. I'm going to say this, and I'm not defending that because that's part of your job. After you release the ball, you are now a fielder, and the role for a pitcher there is to cover first base. But you are in a foot race. Now, Davis isn't very fast, but a pitcher is generally not as fast or faster than an everyday player.
Now, the thing about it, in the game against Toronto, it cost him because he didn't back up third and the throw got away and a run scored.
Yeah, there's no CC knows, and it's the role of a pitcher that you become a fielder, and that is his job to cover first base.
But in fairness to CC, now I don't know if it's just Girardi backing up his player. He totally exonerated CC, so we do not expect him to get there.
All right.
Because if you remember, the ball was hit to the right side, so there's an excuse also. Do I cut over and cover first, and then once you take that step there, you're going to get back behind third? As you said, though, you have to get there.
Yeah, I mean, it looks bad. I mean, the effort is, and the role is just as we're talking about. You're supposed to cover first.
Fly ball off the bat of Scope as Ellsbury runs it down.
But I could tell you, as I got older, guys, it was hard for me. I naturally, a left-hander, you fall off toward third base with your follow through. You got a spin, turn, and now it's a sprint. It looks simple, but it's sometimes it's not as easy as it is.
Well, I can remember when Boomer Wells or Andy Pettitte, towards the end of their careers, would have to run over and cover first. When they come back to the mound, the third baseman was over there talking to him to give him a little bit of blow before they went to the next hitter.
Here's Caleb Joseph. And there's a strike. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius to keep the conversation going. Slow roller. CC off the mound. And he can't make the play. The throw goes into Joseph. So first and second now, 2 outs.
A little swing and bunt off the end of the bat from Joseph. Let's take a look here now. The two-seamer running away. CC. See a little bit slight fall off to the right now. A little firmer shovel pass. Actually threw it into the runner and hitting Joseph. That should be a base hit.
I think Joe Girardi is maybe going to challenge where the runner was he inside the line going down the the 45-foot line. Joe checks, turns around, heads back.
Well, that scored an E1 on CC. They do not give a hit to Joseph.
Okay.
Well, he should have challenged. He is clearly out of the line. Clearly.
Which is really a dumb rule, right?
It's been there for a long time.
But it's impossible to run outside when the bag is inside.
As you finally get towards the bag, then you reach with your left foot and touch it.
Not meant to do that.
Yeah, you saw he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Joe might have come out and said to the umpire, "Can I challenge that?" That could fall under judgment.
Good hook.
But it can also be seen on replay that he was clearly out of that box. Grounded to first. Teixeira beats Diaz to the bag, and that'll do it. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the third. Orioles 1, the Yankees nothing.
Well, it's time for the Hitter Scouting Report presented by Chrysler, and it's Jacoby Ellsbury. And he came into tonight a .326 career hitter against Baltimore. And go back in his history, in 2005 he was the Co-Pac-10 Player of the Year with Trevor Crowe. Remember Trevor Crowe played for Houston and the Cleveland Indians?
Pitcher?
No, outfield.
Oh, outfield.
And the last one this fall, after the baseball season, Jacoby Ellsbury, nice honor for him and his family. He's going into the Oregon State Hall of Fame. He was a Beaver back in the day. And it's in Corvallis, Oregon. And you talked to Jacoby about his hometown of Madras, Oregon. He was saying it's a small town, about 6,000 people. It's about the north central portion of the state. That when he wanted to go to the movies or his friends wanted to go to the movies, they had to drive 45 minutes to find a movie house.
Audi A3 scoreboard 1-0.
That's a small town.
Orioles lead.
You thought you lived in a small town.
There's no movie house in my town either. Not the one now.
You know, one thing you want to mention about that bottom of the second inning, CC Sabathia had to get 5 outs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard enough for pitchers to get 3 outs. He had to get 5 outs. He didn't cover first on the potential double play, so he has to pitch to another batter. Then the E1 is another one that he should have put on the board. So 5 outs. And it didn't cost him, but it does cost him pitches.
You know what eventually is going to cost him? When the league starts seeing that he can't move around the way he should be, they're going to start bunting.
The 1-2.
Especially the speed guys. You know, they're going to, you know, they see chances to get base hits, get on base, steal, do all sorts of things. You know, the scouts are sitting there watching.
And the 3-2. Strike 3. Ellsbury down looking.
Perfectly placed fastball down the way. Pitcher's pitch, but it's 3-2. Gets a heater. This is what makes Gonzalez difficult. I mean, that had some two-seam action going away. This is a good view. Outer third. Let's see the height. Knee high. Pitcher's pitch.
There's Chase Headley. Now, Buck Showalter last night admitted that the Oriole bullpen is a bit gassed. And you see Gonzalez with 46 pitches, just 1 out into the third. And a strike.
Well, we talked about it last night, Michael, with Brian Mattis getting up in the eventual grand slam that was hit by Stephen Drew. He only has the one lefty outside of his closer, Zach Britton.
And we also said last night that Buck would have a good reason. And there's how he used the bullpen last night. And after the game, it really wasn't a good reason. He said he didn't use Mattis there because he had used Mattis the day before and was trying to stay away from him. Well, you used him in the ninth when you had a deficit rather than protect the lead. So it makes sense.
The Oriole bullpen hasn't been particularly effective. I think that every game that the bullpen's been used, they've given up at least 1 run. So in the early going, it's not the bullpen that they had going for them last year when they won 96 games.
Well, they really shift for Headley batting from the left side. 3 infielders on the right side. Only Machado playing what essentially is shortstop. One nothing O's. Top of the third.
What's your way in on that, Kenny, with the shifts? There's some talk of grumbling that it'll make it an illegal defensive play.
I think the hitters should make it work on it and make the other teams shift back. You know, make them pay for it. Maybe not in this instance because you're down by a run.
That one is looped to right field, so the shift takes away a hit. Scope makes the play for the second out.
Well, teams have shifted the most against the Yankees last year to the tune of 1,121 times. The Blue Jays were the second most shifted against. But the American League East, there's most of the shifting goes on. I guess a lot of pull hitters, especially the left-handers. The Red Sox, Orioles are in the top 5.
Well, a lot of teams in the East have front offices that really rely on analytics, so they're sending out information that will tell you, you know what, you should shift on this guy.
I think it's across baseball too, Michael. The Astros, I think, are right up there at number 1 and number 2.
One of the great analytic franchises.
Jeff Luhnow, now the general manager. I think they're all. I mean, right? They're charting every pitch and spray charts and analysis of exactly where the pitches were thrown.
You know, everybody thinks that shift has been around just for the last few years. They used to shift against Ted Williams, but he hit the ball so hard that he didn't really care.
Yeah, it's called over the fence.
Yeah, well,
he shift against that.
Yeah, he wore out the shift, to be honest with you. It's just great hitter. And they're shifting against lesser hitters than Ted Williams. So this is why it's more effective against these guys than maybe it was against Ted.
And it also shows you that most of the hitters are very obstinate. There's ways to get hits if you go the other way. And that's what Rob Manfred, the commissioner, would like to do before having to make a seismic change in the rules. Let the hitters correct it. If they go the other way, you have to stop shifting. One, 2. Sounds like a broken bat. And it is.
Well, I'm curious, Kenny. I mean, is it that hard? I mean, I think of watching Major League batting practice. Guys are like magicians, hitting the ball exactly where it's thrown all over the field.
Not everybody's Tony Gwynn. You know, it's something you got to work on.
I mean, if you had that big hole there, I mean, was that inviting? Not here with 2 strikes. I know you're battling, but
well, down by a run, you're trying to tie the score if you can right here. But leading off an inning, I'd think about it.
Line to left. De Aza puts it away. Yankees are retired in order. 1, 2, 3, and we go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's 1-0 O's. One more game in Baltimore tomorrow. We'll have it on. Yes, Thursday is an off day as the Yankees travel to St. Pete. Then they'll play the Rays 3 games this weekend. Then 4 games in Detroit against the Red Hot Tigers. All of them on Yes. Thursday's a 1 o'clock game. Then back home to play the Mets. Audi A3 scoreboard. 1-0 O's on Adam Jones' first inning home run. Here's Cabrera. 1-0. The 2-0 is bounced in the dirt. Cabrera struck out looking in the first inning. And he walked him on 4 pitches to start the third.
Buck Showalter moves Machado to the second spot. He hasn't hit there very often this year. This might be the lineup against left-handers. And this is where Machado hit most of the time against both right-handers and lefties. They're trying to get him going. He's showing some signs.
Broken bat looper into left center field. It's a base hit. Cabrera will go to third. Ellsbury throws to second. Orioles first and third. Nobody out. And Adam Jones coming up. So Jones hit a home run in the first inning, which leads us to the Honda League leaders because his home run gave the Orioles 13 on the year. So now they are #1 in baseball. Yankees were tied with the O's coming in. Then you have the Mariners and the Dodgers with 11 and the Royals with 10.
This puts CC in a tough spot with the leadoff walk to Cabrera. Any leadoff walk never amounts to a good thing if you're the pitcher. A little jam shot by Machado. Situation here, looking for a ground ball. You'll concede a run, get a double play.
Drew shades up the middle. A lot of the right side of the infield is open. And Jones goes the other way, but in the air. That's going to get a run in. Beltran will make the catch. Tagging is Machado. He draws the throw. Scoring easily is Cabrera on the sac fly by Jones. And it's Jones 2, the Yankees nothing.
Swinging at the first pitch, which he does normally about 40% of the time. He's hacking.
Keeps his walk number down.
He's walked once this year.
Let's see if they turn 2. There's 1. And there's 2. A 6-4-3 double play. That'll do it in the third. But the Orioles get a run on 1 hit. And nobody left on base. Let's go to the 4th. streaming sports service is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, and pitch tracking widget and more. Every night on every device. Blackout restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Lincoln scoreboard, 2-0 O's. I've got that on my computer.
It's good.
It's great. Count 1-1 on Teixeira. Teixeira struck out in the first inning. One and two. Teixeira, McCann, and Garrett Jones against Miguel Gonzalez with a 2-0 lead. Shift is on for Teixeira. Manny Machado on the left side. Swing and a miss.
Just caught in between two fastballs, especially the previous pitch. This is a very good changeup. Watch the bottom drop out of that. But the previous pitch, Kenny, the 1-1 fastball, I know it was in her third. Watch the changeup here, the little dip, and then out front. Good pitch by Gonzalez.
Fastball in, slow stuff away. I mentioned that the other night, rocking chair effect. In, out. The only thing missing is the squeak. And the cat's tail moving from underneath the runner.
And Norman Rockwell painting it. Count 0-1 on McCann. Grounded to second in the second. Shift is on for McCann as well. Now McCann will go the other way every now and then. Take advantage of the open left side.
He's got to get the right pitch to kind of block it off and just run it the other way. You see Machado, the third baseman, playing what is now like the shortstop position. That's where Manny started out in the minor leagues, as a shortstop.
Ground ball to first. Pierce stays down for the tough hop. One away. Two away. Sorry.
They're the Orioles scouts who signed him and saw him play in the minors. If you really think he could play third base, you should have saw him play shortstop in the minors.
Big too.
Yeah, he's going to fill out even more.
See the Orioles. I think of your old teammate Mark Belanger. You know, once upon a time, the shortstop was really a defensive guy.
Yeah, the blade.
The blade. Not big by stature, right?
He was over 6 foot, but he was tall and lanky. And he could hit Nolan Ryan.
The 0-1 to Jones. 0-2. And again, the shift on. Three infielders on the right side. One and two.
Gonzalez pitched a pretty good game in his initial start against Tampa Bay, but he ran into Jake Odorizzi, and that Odorizzi was on. Sometimes it's not how you pitch, it's when you pitch.
Swing and a miss. Strong inning for Gonzalez. He's retired 7 Yankees in a row. We go to the bottom of the fourth. 2-0 O's. Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Paul Blart, Mall Cop 2, starring Kevin James, in theaters Friday, by your Tri-State BMW Centers, and by McDonald's. I'm loving it. All right, we go to the bottom of the fourth inning, and it's 2-0 Orioles. Ruining a hot dog with ketchup. Further ruining it with mustard.
What'd you say?
Ruining it.
Mustard and mayonnaise. He doesn't eat that.
And ketchup.
How about relish?
No.
And ketchup.
To each his own, though. I don't judge people.
You know, I like mine with relish, or you're not judging me then, right?
No way.
I love relish.
Lincoln scoreboard 2-0 O's.
We talked about the Youngs, Delman Young and his brother Dimitri. You know, you faced Dimitri.
Yeah.
Nickname was the Meat Hook.
Was it?
Yeah.
He was tough against lefties.
Yeah, he was.
Dribbled slowly up the third baseline. Going to be a very tough play, and Headley just has to eat it. Infield single for Delman Young, and we will check in for the first time tonight with our buddy Bob Lorenz back in the studio. Bob? Wow, scary, scary moment. And boy, pitchers are so close to the batter after they deliver the pitch. And you just wish that it doesn't happen. You ever get hit on the mound with a comebacker?
Yeah, a few times. But one real scary hit me in the head. Alex Gonzalez, when I was with the Mets, he was with the Marlins in a spring training game. Didn't get glove on it and hit me right in the almost near the temple.
Did you leave the game immediately?
Yeah. Another one was when you were covering back in '88, first batter of the game, Carney Lansford in Oakland, when Billy Martin was managing.
And Neil Allen took over.
Neil Allen took over.
Yeah. Now, Meredith, you've noticed that one of the guys on the Yankees actually wears the Kevlar cap, right?
Yes, Esmiel Rogers is one of a handful of players throughout Major League Baseball that is worried about getting hit by a comebacker, decided to wear that Kevlar hat. And he said his agent actually reached out to him and said, this may be a good idea. You may want to consider it. And although the hat is a little bit heavier, Esmiel said he doesn't feel any different. It feels like it's the same hat, and he really has no reason not to wear the hat. The only time he sees that he may change it if something better comes out.
Is it a liner inside of it?
It's inside. Yes, it's inside. It goes all the way around, and it's supposed to protect you from concussions.
Okay.
Well, there was the couple of years ago. Remember the first guy who wore it? It was with the Padres. It was with the Mets now,
It was
right?
with the Mets now.
Carlos Torres?
Yeah, Carlos Torres.
Yeah.
That was too big. Wearing a ski cap. Is that Esmiel?
The 1-2. 2-2. How is it to get back on the mound right after you got hit in the temple? I mean, are you constantly thinking about it, or you just have to take it out of your mind?
Yeah, completely. There was actually the first time I had a little kind of a gun shy, getting ready as soon as you let it go.
That one gets away from McCann as Delman Young will go to second.
So like this is going to be a wild pitch. Bounces it just in front of home plate, maybe off the front portion of the plate. And it skips away from McCann, and you can see Delman Young turns, was going to hold on at second. saw Davis last night go 4 with 4 strikeouts. And in the series against Toronto, opening series, Michael, the Yankees did a pretty good job on Jose Bautista. But these are guys you want to face at the right time, because they can get really hot. You want to keep them as cold as you can for 2 or 3 days.
Swing and a miss. And Davis's struggles continue, so he does not move Young over. So that strikeout now ties Pettit on the Major League Baseball all-time strikeout list, both with 24-48. Next up is Sam McDowell. Then after that, our former colleague Jim Cott.
What's the common denominator there?
They're all lefties.
Yes. Jamie Moyer.
Well, if you pitch 33 years, you're going to ring up some strikeouts.
You're talking about velocity. He didn't throw a ball over 85 miles an hour.
He really knew how to pitch.
Early in his career he did, but most of his successful years he was not a hard thrower.
Jonathan Scope, another very aggressive hitter. We talked about Adam Jones. Scope punched out 122 times last year, walked 13 times. That's kind of hard to do, if you ask me.
Well, CeCe's got a couple pitches here to just throw it out of the zone and take advantage of that scout report. Here's one.
You saw Andrew Miller put him away last night on a 0-2 pitch that he chased. I was talking to Didi Gregorius about Scope, and they're both from Curacao. I asked him if he played together, and Didi said, "No, I'm older than he is." But he was well aware of Scope getting to the big leagues.
Big lead for Young at second. Really big lead. CeCe looks him back. The 1-2. Strike 3. Scope down looking.
Now this is looking for off speed. 1-2 pitch. Fastball that came back over the plate. You see that ended up being middle. Had to be looking for something else. Watch, you see where McCann's setting up and ball ended up being middle of the plate. Locked him up.
Why do you look back?
I think he couldn't believe he didn't swing at it or make an effort.
Joseph lines one to right field. It's a base hit. Charging is Beltran. Comes up throwing. And the play at the plate, not in time. Scoring Delman Young. Good throw by Beltran. RBI single by Joseph. 3-0 O's.
Big 2-out hit. Caleb Joseph, really not known for his hitting, but he comes through here. You can see Beltran on the charge. Bobby Dickinson waving Delman Young, and he just gets in ahead of the tag. And watch Brian McCann at the plate. He acts like there's not going to be anything happening until the last very second. Reaches for the ball, the swipe tag, and we take a look at this on Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. You can see the left foot touching home plate, and there's a swipe tag, and it was close. Well, the Orioles get their third run.
Here's De Aza. 1-0.
Diaz was leading off last night. Tonight batting ninth against the lefty. He's got a neat little 6-game hitting streak going.
Ground ball up the middle. Gregorius to first, and the stretch by Teixeira completes the play for the final out. 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 left. If you don't like mustard, that's one thing, but you got to love the fact that he spells out Orioles on the hot dog. That's art right there. a game, you don't expect it to be 7-5, but some teams are hitting this year. Most of them are not, though.
Yeah, the Nationals have been struggling, and well, they needed a 6-run inning maybe to get their club turned around.
The Bigelow T scoreboard shows the Orioles with a 3-0 lead as we go to the 5th. And Chris Young will lead it off. It'll be the bottom third of the Yankee order. Young, Drew, and Gregorius against Gonzalez. Strike. Foul back.
You see how Young was kind of upset with himself. Checked his swing and got a piece of it anyway. Fouled it off. Now he's in the hole 0-2. Yep. Ball was up and in. That would have been a ball.
Grounded right to short. Picked it and throws it for the out. So the shift worked as the shortstop was playing in the hole, and Young hit it right there.
It's going to be perfectly defended. Cabrera, watch, he doesn't even move. They got the 3 infielders on the left side. Nice little backhand one hopper.
And without scope on that side, he may be a step or two to his left, and that becomes a very tough play.
Yeah, it becomes a base hit. That's what it becomes.
Yeah, that was a smash.
Here's Stephen Drew. Now, we've told you that Stephen hit a pinch hit grand slam last night, and Kenny mentioned this on the Open. It just seems very strange that it hasn't happened in so long. I mean, people do get, they pinch hit with the bases loaded a lot, but usually it's against a good pitcher. Last time a Yankee did it was Jorge Posada in 2001. And the first time in Girardi's managerial career that any of his pinch hitters ever hit a grand slam.
Yeah, I was reading this morning as we look at this grand slam pinch hit home run last night. High fastball, 3-1, and Stephen Drew gets the job done. The last 6 pinch hit grand slam home runs by the Yankees, 3 of them have come against Baltimore.
Really?
You got Jorge, and we mentioned Stephen Drew, of course, but Charlie Hayes in '97 was the 3rd. So
Tommy Hunter served it up. Strike 3. Drew down looking. Today is an important day in Yankee history. It's the 60th anniversary of Elston Howard becoming the Yankees' first African-American player. Now, boy, Elston Howard could play. 2-time Gold Glove winner at the catching spot. He contributed to 9 American League pennant-winning teams in his first 10 seasons with the Yanks. Won the MVP in 1963. All-Star 9 different seasons. Then he served as a coach with the Yankees from 69 to 79. Respected, dignified, just a gentleman. 60 years ago today, he broke the Yankees color line as Gregorius with a fly ball to right. And another 1-2-3 inning for Miguel Gonzalez as the Yankees go down in order. After 4.5, we're halfway through. It's 3-0 O's. For one of the hottest collectibles of the season, it's Masahiro Tanaka bobblehead night, the first one in the 2015 collectible series presented by AT&T for the first 18,000 guests in attendance. Now for tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or you can call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Count 1-0 on Cabrera. And we actually travel with our Tanaka bobblehead. So he's a little bit of a mascot here in the bottom of the fifth. Nice. Grounded and passed. Diving Headley into left field. Getting it in quickly is Young, so Cabrera picks up a leadoff single here in the fifth.
Yeah, fourth straight inning, the Orioles have had the first man on base. Headley has to guard against the bunt. Cabrera's got good speed, and that gives him a little less time to react to a hard shot in his direction. And Cabrera is on. Last inning it was a single. The inning before that it was a walk. And the inning before that it was a single to get things started for Baltimore.
Here's Manny Machado, fly ball to center, and a single to left center. And a strike. Headley about even with the bag at third, maybe 4 feet off the line. That's got to be scary. Machado really hits the ball hard. Very close. And a strike. 0-2.
The way he took those two pitches, Al, it kind of tells me he was guessing something else.
The first pitch was fastball up, and I thought actually was a little high. That he took a little off of, but I think there is a certain amount of guessing or picking a pitch early in the count for sure.
Let's see if they turn two. There's one, and there's two. 6-4-3 double play.
This one was tailor-made. Hit fairly hard directly at the shortstop. Good flip. Chest high to Stephen Drew, just turns it over. Got both runners easily. A little bit of moving around in the glove, but sure-handed both of them.
Al, I know you have a lot of friends, but they always say the double play pitcher's best friend. Was it your best buddy?
It was. Right about now, if I'm CC, that is my best friend.
Especially with Adam Jones coming up.
Jones with a home run in the first, a sac fly to right in the third. One and 0. Bottom of the fifth, 3-0 Baltimore. Run in the first on the Jones home run. Run in the third on the sac fly. Run in the fourth on a Joseph RBI single. Grounded to Headley. And that'll do it here in the fifth. No runs a hit, no errors, and because of the double play, nobody left. We go to the sixth inning. Rain's held up here in Baltimore, 3-0 O's. game as Brook Lopez and the Nets are hoping to lock up a playoff spot when they host the Orlando Magic at Barclays. Big loss last night for the Nets put them in this situation. Game time is 8 p.m. on Yes 2. Go to YesNetwork.com for a full listing of channel locations for the Nets on Yes 2.
So you're saying that they got to win?
They got to win.
Does anybody else have to lose, or they just have to win?
Well, if somebody loses, I think that they can get in if they actually if they lose.
Okay.
But Indiana should win their game, or its game, and the Nets have put themselves in a bad position.
All right.
Ellsbury, Headley, and Beltran. 1-2-3 in the Yankee order against Gonzalez. 3-0. O's. And a base hit off the bat of Ellsbury. Nice try there by Scope. Could not come up with it.
Well, this is between innings, and Al, you know what this is all about. Pitcher and catcher going over what's been happening in the ball game. And
yeah, I mean, all the time during the game, you have a game plan to start the game. You sit with the pitching coach, and then as the game goes along, it's all about feel and which pitches are working. And if there's a situation within the inning, Brian McCann may have thought of a certain pitch or vice versa. The relationship between your pitcher and your catcher is so valuable. Pitchers want to believe and know that their catcher's behind them, that they do research, looking at video. Serves as like another pitching coach, good catcher.
with that base hit, by the way, Ellsbury has run a early season hitting streak to 6 games. And he's been on the upswing lately. I got to ask him why he wears one long sleeve and one short one. You see that, Al?
Yeah, throwing on.
You don't see that very often.
It's like a pitcher, protect the arm.
That might be it.
The compression sleeve. Pitchers would do that. You'd cover the elbow at least on your throwing arm.
This is the first time in the game that the Yankees have had the leadoff man on. So.
Machado way off the line at third, but the shortstop close to him. So 2 infielders on the left side, 2 on the right. A modified shift as Headley goes down on strikes.
7 strikeouts now for Gonzalez. See how he puts them away. There's that split change again. Sinking fastball.
Yeah. The previous pitch, I thought Chase Headley, he swung at a changeup that the changeup from Gonzalez has been going away from the left-hander, but it actually stayed inside on Headley, and then that was just a good 2-seam fastball run away from him.
Beltran taking all the way, takes inside.
Boy, halfway through, you see, he took his hands off the bat. One hand.
Gonzalez has tied his career high in strikeouts with 7.
Ball gets away from Joseph as Ellsbury scampers to second, and then a throw through. Ellsbury gets back.
Check that. Gonzalez has struck out 9 twice in the game.
Almost through the wickets.
Now 2-1.
And Beltran's hit the ball hard a couple of times tonight. He doubled off the wall in right center his first time up. And then he lined out hard to left field to Diaza.
The Brooks Robinson fan gets rewarded. Popped up, shallow left. Diaza will make the play. Kenny, you ask a question. Jack Curry has an answer.
Jack's the man.
Ellsbury started wearing the long sleeve on the left arm to keep it warm when he played in Portland in the Red Sox organization. Then he just stuck with it.
Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks to Jack, and you'll hear from Jack and Bob and Meredith on the post-game show.
Well, long sleeve to keep it throwing arm warm.
Here's Teixeira. Line drive down the right field line. It's a base hit. It'll go into the corner and up against the wall. Ellsbury will score. Teixeira is chugging into second. He's there with an RBI. Yankees on the board. It's 3-1-0s.
6-game hitting streak now for Teixeira. And whatever that was, it kind of stayed up in the middle of the play. It looked like a spinner. And he just ripped it in the corner. Delman Young going to get to the corner, get it back in as quickly as possible. But Teixeira has a double and a run batted in.
Well, hanging slider, second double of the year for Mark. Get the Yankees on the board here. String some hits together. Get him back into the game.
Here's McCann, 0 for 2. And Gonzalez wants to talk with Joseph.
That was one of the few real mistakes that Gonzalez has made tonight, that particular pitch.
One and 0. No one there, but they chase back Teixeira.
Yeah, with the shift on, Teixeira could get a big lead. He doesn't have to worry about anybody behind him. And he can just look to his left to see where Cabrera is on the right side of the infield. Cabrera's going to move back to bring the shift into effect. He can take an even bigger lead now. Yeah, Cabrera's going to do his best to hold him close before the pitch is thrown. Then he's going to have to run back to enforce the shift.
I like when pitchers do that. I know it seems kind of benign with 2 outs, but any hard base hit to the outfield, if you could keep the runner closer to second base, doesn't get as good a secondary lead, could be the difference between bang bang play at home plate.
The 2-0. Strike, 2-1-1.
Well, one of his better fastballs of the night. You mentioned, Kenny, about the one mistake, the slider middle of the plate to Teixeira. That's a fastball at 90 miles an hour. See the big swing by McCann. You know, when you off speed, so many off speed pitches, a guy like Gonzalez with the slider and the curve and the changeup, See Kevin Gausman warming up in the Oriole bullpen. Kind of lull hitters to sleep. At 90 looks like 95.
Slow tapper, right side. And the play is made to get McCann, and that'll do it. But the Yankees get on the board. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 3-1 O's. Reliable internet. Nathan Eovaldi will make his second start for the Yankees against Bud Norris. Our coverage begins at 6 on Yes. And game time will be right around 7:07. Tomorrow is Jackie Robinson Day around the major leagues.
So they're going to break out the 42s.
Everybody will be wearing them. Retired all around baseball. Mariano Rivera, the last player to ever wear it. Now here's a little quiz for you, Al.
Yeah.
So number 42 is actually retired twice by the Yankees. There's another number that was retired twice.
8.
Very good. Yogi Berra and Bill Dickey. Good job, Al.
You don't think I know that?
No, I didn't think you knew it.
He's got to start giving you more credit.
But you were talking about Elston Howard. He's retired, right? 32?
Yes, number 32.
Yeah. Great defensive catcher. He and Whitey Ford were quite a tandem.
Pierce goes down on strikes.
Good pitch right there, Kenny. Couple sliders to Pierce inside and then throws his changeup away. After 2 sliders, back foot to Pierce, changeup, you see him out in front of it. Just enough. He's throwing that fastball around 88 to 90. And it's on the plane of about thigh high, but the ball runs away out in front. Nice pitch.
Tell you what I remember about Elston Howard, and he, like so many members of the Yankees in the 60s, they had great teams and clutch hitters. I think Elston Howard broke up quite a few no-hitters late in ball games. Line drive hitter had power to right center at the old Yankee Stadium. And here at the new Yankee Stadium, same dimensions. You see how that would play for a right-handed hitter.
The 0-2. 1-2. Tap to short, and Gregorius bobbles, and there's an E6.
Well, you watch the ball hit, and CC reaches for it, then lets it go. He knows where his shortstop is, and he's taking no chances on bobbling the ball. That's CC who threw it. Lets it go. Gregorius comes up, and then he bobbles it, and it's going to go as an E6. Cannot get the ball, make the transfer from glove to hand, and Delvin Young's going to be safe at first base.
And that one is ripped down the right field line. Hooks foul.
That's the hardest ball that Davis has hit in the 2 games.
Rain starting to come down pretty hard here at Camden Yards. It's been a very, very light rain for most of the game, but now you can see it with the naked eye. Oh, 2.
He's ahead now. That's another good swing, Kenny.
Well, now he can work him over. I got that turn from Coney.
Work him over?
Get ahead of him and then work him over. It's like you got him on the ropes. Yep, he wouldn't bite.
Davis continuing to struggle, strikes out. He struck out 6 times so far in the first 2 games.
Yeah, he really looks caught in between. A little breaking ball before, did not bite, as you say, Ken. Fastball right down the middle. You talk about confused and really not in sync. Looking fastball, gets a breaking ball, vice versa.
He's been up 30 times now this year and struck out 12 of them.
Count 0-1 on Scope, who's 0 for 2. There's a ground ball to third. Nice stab there by Headley. He goes to second for the force, and that will do it. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 man left. We go to the 7th. As they hit the pitch for a rematch with the Philadelphia Union at Yankee Stadium. Watch New York City FC presented by Etihad Airways starting Thursday night at 7 only on Yes. Garrett Jones takes low as we start the 7th. Gonzalez got his pitch count under control after the 3rd inning. He's in pretty good shape. And the Orioles bullpen is ready.
Well, with the 100 pitch count as the proverbial limit now, Michael, 7 innings for a starting pitcher, you're a front end star almost if you keep it under 3 runs or 2 runs or less. The days of complete games, you just don't see it.
You think that's become a mindset for the starters?
Absolutely.
Now that wasn't the case when you were pitching. You were thinking 9, weren't you?
I tried to. I know it. I threw a lot of pitches, a high fastball there, striking out Jones. It's just. I just think you got to see it with your eyeballs. And what does it say? I mean, you get a guy Gonzalez who's pitching a good game, high fastball up in the zone. Garrett Jones couldn't lay off. But I say that, Kenny, because in the minor leagues, protecting the assets of young arms, and these kids know it. They know their pitch counts, and they look at it as I did my job. In 5 innings and 1 run, and got the pitch count up, as opposed to fighting through tough innings. And then in many cases, they get to the big leagues and really never worked. Or figured out how to work through a tough 7th inning, to maybe get to the 8th, etc.
You think it's because they've been grooming other pitchers to be relievers as opposed to failed starters?
Good point. You have, who's the #1 pick? Jacob Lindgren.
Yeah.
He was the #1 pick.
He's a reliever.
Teams are all drafting guys that are viewed as relievers, and you see the arms that are coming out of the pen now. Not just a closer arm at 95 to 100 miles an hour. You're seeing 7th inning arms, which is now also made hitting much more difficult in major leagues. The 3-headed monster, the Kansas City Royals, they're great what they were able to do. Herrera, Davis, onto Holland.
One reason why Gonzalez tonight has been able to stall the Yankees offense somewhat, only 1 run on 4 hits, because he's had at least 1 strikeout in every inning. And when you strike out somebody, the runners don't move. And he's 1 away from tying his career high. And now something you and I were talking before the game about. We've seen several teams set records defensively the last few years with fewest errors. The Orioles set a major league record 2 years ago. The Yankees, I think, set their team record, was it last year or the year before, as far as fewest errors in a season. One reason you're seeing this is because there's been so many strikeouts. The ball's not been put in play. I mean, major league records been set the last 3 years for striking out by major league hitters. So the ball's not put in play. Nobody has to catch it except for the catcher.
So Young down on strikes.
And that ties Gonzalez's career high with 9 strikeouts.
The curveball. He's shown 4 different pitches here this evening against the Yankees. And, again, you don't have to throw 95 to be effective or dominate. And if you look at Miguel Gonzalez to think here's a guy, a free agent signed in 2004 by the Angels. Gets a Rule 5, got picked up by the Red Sox. They released him and the Orioles signed him in December 2011. Here's one of their better starters.
Stephen Drew takes a strike. Drew has walked and struck out looking.
And he's got it all working.
Yep. He just started throwing more of his curveball. Hadn't really seen much of that the whole night earlier in the game, but Gonzalez now these last couple innings throwing big slow curveball. 2 to Drew, and then that last pitch, that split changeup.
Swing and a miss. Strong finish if that's it for Gonzalez. He strikes out the side. Yankees go down in order. It's the 7th inning stretch, and it's 3 1-0s. Run, and his offense has been shut down fairly well by CC if you look at the quality start. And that's exactly what CC has. 6 innings, has given up 3 runs, so he's out here to pitch the 7th. And he'll face 8, 9, and 1 in the Orioles order. Three 6-0, leading 1-4-2. Fly ball right center, long run for Ellsbury, and he can't make the play. The ball will roll to the wall. Joseph's going for 3, and he will make it standing.
This might be a career first for Caleb Joseph, a triple to the gap in right center. Ellsbury got a good jump on it, but the ball was slicing away from him. Now, if he were a right-handed thrower, he might have been able to get this by reaching out with the left hand, but here's Joseph. Sees the ball get by. Second, he's going to push it, and he's headed for third with his first triple of the year.
Well, the Yankees have to bring the infield in. They're down 3-1, bottom of the 7th. And here is Alejandro De Aza.
And for Joseph, as we mentioned, that's his first triple of his career.
I figured that when you said that.
Yeah. He hadn't been up that long.
Well, catchers wouldn't. That's triples, usually the speedy guy.
Chris Martin up in the Yankee bullpen. Could not hold up. Count 0-2. Just 82 pitches for Sabathia.
Yeah, you talk about it. Economical. Now he's got a chance here. 0-2 count. I know you have to trust Brian McCann, the catcher, is going to stop a breaking ball in the dirt. You got a chance to strike him out here. Runner at third base, less than 2 outs. Going to throw a breaking ball. Believe your catcher's going to block it.
Did he go around? No, he did not, said Barksdale.
Here's another look, and they want this to try and tie him up. They got it upstairs. He wouldn't chase it. He thought about it, though.
Swing and a miss. Big strikeout. And there's one away. And let's check in with Bob Lorenz back in the studio. Bob. Two strong outings for Shane Green with the Tigers as he starts his career there. He was involved in the trade for D.D. Gregorius. Infield remains in. Here is Everett Cabrera.
Well, these are situations where a pitcher has to reach back for a little extra. The infield's in, the pressure's on. He's already gotten one. CC striking out Diaz. It may be a little tougher here with a right-handed hitter up in Cabrera, but he has struck him out once tonight.
Let's see if that gets the run in. Played well there by Ellsbury. Tagging is Joseph. Here's the throw. Here's the play at the plate. He's safe. 4-1-0s.
Just deep enough, and you can see this ball as the throw comes in. It's tailing a little bit towards the first base side, and that enables Joseph to get in on the third base side of home plate. Here he comes, taking the chance here, and the throw is just enough offline that Baltimore's going to pick up another run. Trying for the quick catch and the sweep tag. I'm not so sure he would have gotten him anyway. The throw was about a few yards to the right of home plate.
Here's Machado. 1 for 3. Count 0-2. The 1-2. Ground ball to third. Headley will get Machado, but a big insurance run for the Orioles. 1 run, 1 hit, nobody left on base. Let's go to the 8th. 4-1-0s. 4-1, O's lead. Jones with a home run in the first inning off CC, as a sac fly as well. Joseph 2 for 3, a triple and a ribby. And Mark Teixeira's driven in the only Yankee run with an RBI double. Well, Buck Showalter makes the Verizon call to the bullpen. Rob Manfred's baseball will be thrown now by Kevin Gausman.
And thrown pretty hard as well. That I was watching a game that they were playing. He was pitching against Tampa Bay. He hit 100 on consecutive pitches against the Rays. 100 miles per hour. He's developing a split change, which is a pretty good pitch for him. But you can also see he's walked 4 batters in 3 2/3 innings. And during spring training, Gausman was a candidate for the starting rotation, but he's been shifted to the bullpen.
He's going to face 9-1-2 in the Yankee order, starting with Didi Gregorius. Didi is 0 for 2. That one is looped to shallow left, and it dunks in for a base hit. Gregorius makes a big turn, and he will head back to first with a single to lead off the inning.
Yeah, he found a soft spot in the zone. You know, not much of an angle for Machado, and Cabrera had to go a long way, and so did De Aza, and he drops it in between the 3 of them.
Perfectly placed, huh? Little pitching wedge.
Oh, I'd take that.
4th hit on the year for Didi. Maybe that will get him going, Michael.
Hyundai scoreboard 4-1. Baltimore leads. Ellsbury scored the Yankees' only run. That was in the 6th inning. So he's 1 for 3.
You know, I wonder how the Yankee hitter is going to react to Gausman. I know he throws harder, but it's almost as if Gonzalez had 4 pitches working tonight. So and Gausman doesn't have 4 pitches. At the most, he's got 3.
Well,
I think what Gonzalez was able to do, I mean, it's, you know, somebody who appreciates pitching, you know, to be able to carve up major league hitters without throwing that hard, using the 4 pitches, as you say, Kenny. It's impressive. This guy has an impressive arm, touching upper 90s.
That one is driven out to left field. Long run for De Aza, and he makes the play. Good play by Alejandro De Aza.
That ball was slicing away, but De Aza, too, he got an excellent jump on that ball headed towards the corner. And you can see him tracking, and reaches out at the very end, hauls it in, and gets it back in. Gregorius was all the way to second base. He had to hightail it back to first. I don't think he quite drove it. It kind of hung up there. It didn't have that real solid sound, but still, they'd had a chance.
Got something off speed in there for a strike.
You know, Al, you mentioned I appreciate good pitching too. Just not as much as you do.
Well,
you understand what I mean?
No, of course. You're coming from the other side. I'm looking from the bump down to home plate. You're looking out. No, but you know
when
what
somebody
I'm saying.
does a good job, they do a good job.
Right, and not with, you know, the overpowering stuff that you truly have to pitch.
Ground ball right side and under the glove of Scope and into right field. Gregorius will go to third. It's a single for Headley. First and third, 1 man out.
Gregorius kind of made a late decision there as to go to third base. He's over there at 1 out, which is big. But he kind of hesitated and then decided to turn it off. Delman Young has a pretty good arm, although you wouldn't consider him a strong outfielder. Here's a ground ball to the right side. Gregorius had to lay back to make sure it got through. This replay brought to you by New York Presbyterian, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Amazing things are happening here.
Here's Carlos Beltran, so he comes up to the plate as the tying run. The Yankees are down 4-1. Beltran's 1 for 3, doubled off the right field wall in the first inning.
I'll tell you what, the Yankees have much better swings off Gausman than they had against Gonzalez. And this is right from the get-go. It's almost as if they're ready for Gonzalez to just leave the ball game. Get anybody else in there.
Crowd wanted that one. Crowd of 19,283.
See where the catcher's setting up, and it's just missing. In off the plate by a couple inches. Good call by Gary Cederstrom, home plate umpire.
Ground ball right side. Grabbed there by Scope. Nice play. Took a hit away from Beltran, but a run scores, and Headley moves to second. That is a nice play by Jonathan Scope.
Well, you got to believe if this gets through, it's going to chase Headley, no pun intended, to third base. But instead, they pick up an out.
And here's Mark Teixeira. Shift is on. 3 infielders on the right side. Headley leads off second. 1-0.
And once again, the Oriole bullpen has given up a run.
Zach Britton, the closer, is up.
Well, Teixeira's seen 2 changeups from Gausman. First one a ball, and that last one swinging over the top of it. And there it is again.
And that's the pitch he's developed, and it's becoming a more and more effective for him. It's a split change.
Martin and Betances. One, two. Driven out to left field. Going back Diaza. Still back. And it's off his glove. It's off his glove. Headley will score. Teixeira's on second. And the Yankees have closed to within 1. It's 4-3. Diaza had it lined up. He just could not complete the pass. Went off his glove and dropped to the warning track.
Yeah, that was a long run, and we saw him make a play similar to that early off of Ellsbury, but not this time. Off the edge of the glove, he's tracking, looks to see where the wall is. He thinks he's got it, but he really doesn't. And a runner's they're going to give him an error, which means Teixeira's not going to get a run batted in. Oh, is there such a thing as degree of difficulty? I guess not. That was off the tip of the glove. I can see them giving him an error if the ball goes in and then out of the glove. But the ball hit off the tip, and that's why I think that should be a hit.
Well, Buck Showalter's going to try to protect this lead. He is going to bring in his closer to get 4 outs. The one big one here in the 8th inning will start it off. Artisan flatbread sandwiches. Blimpie, America's Sub Shop. By People's United Bank. See what know-how can do. And by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. The Inner Harbor. Right outside Camden Yards. Orioles American League East champs last year despite having those 3 out. Big players, but people did step up. How'd they win? Cruz was great. Britton, who's on now to try to close out the game, had 37 saves, and Steve Pearce came out of nowhere. So Zach Britton against Brian McCann, tying run is at second.
Yeah, Steve Pearce was awarded a WAR of 6. That's
the highest on the team.
Yeah.
It's a tough left-hander right here, Kenny.
Yeah,
can't face him.
He's nasty. He's got good stuff. Everything's sinking. He's got a ground ball rate of 75%, and he strikes out more than his share as well. 37 saves a year ago. He's another one who used to be a starting pitcher, but they moved him to the bullpen, and he's had much more success.
The 1-1. 1-2.
Just about every pitch he throws a two-seam fastball that sinks, and it's a hard sinker. Mid-90s.
McCann is 0 for 3. 1-2 is the count. Teixeira leads off second. Grounded sharply into right field. Covering is Britton. And the throw from Scope gets McCann for the final out of the 8th. But the Yankees get 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 huge error, and 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Orioles 4, Yankees 3. As this early season division showdown wraps up here in Baltimore. Pre-game coverage on Yes starts at 6 with Audi batting practice today. It's all right here on Yes. So CC Sabathia's night is done, and he turns it over to Chris Martin to pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. Martin, his 5th game, 3 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts.
Hard thrower, 6'8". Put the ball up in the mid-90s. Picked him up from the Rockies.
And he will face Adam Jones, who has 2 ribbies, a home run, a sac fly, also grounded to third. Hyundai scoreboard 4-3 O's. Bottom of the 8th. Adam Jones, one of the few players in baseball that wears the stirrups the way they used to be worn. Shows some white sock, also showing the orange stripes.
Now, I was told when the St. Louis Browns first came to Baltimore and became the Baltimore Orioles, that's the way their socks look. But instead of the brown and orange, it's the black and orange.
And speaking of the Browns moved from St. Louis to Baltimore, and the Orioles actually began in 1954. And on this date in '54, the Orioles won their first game ever. There's a strike.
You know what? It's also not the only case of the Browns moving to Baltimore.
That's right.
The Cleveland Browns moved to Baltimore and became the Baltimore Ravens.
Swing and a miss.
Good pitch. I'll tell you what, in the early going here, Chris Martin has really impressed me. And look at the sharp break on that pitch, just down and away and disappeared. Is that like I call curve or slider?
You know what? I'd call it a slider because of the velocity, but here's a guy, Chris Martin, thrown in the mid-90s, 81 to 83 breaking ball, but that has a slider break to it. It's not straight down.
You'd been proud of that one, wouldn't you?
I'd like to have had that one.
There's a strike to Steve Pearce.
I'll tell you what, that road 95, it's getting crowded. Everybody's on that road 95. All the relievers. There it is again.
With some cut to it.
Strike 3. Pearce down looking. Pearce 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
Both sides of the plate with some cut and then straight true. Good velocity inside. Locks him up. Nice pitch.
Give McCann some credit for having to move the ball around, but he's moving the ball around with something on it.
It was Delman Young. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Grounded up the middle. Gregorius ranges to the glove side and fires. And a 1-2-3 inning for Chris Martin. While the Yankees go to the ninth, Garrett Jones, Chris Young, and Stephen Drew due up. Well, after the final out, stick around for the WB Mason Yankees postgame to get the clubhouse reaction on tonight's battle here at Camden Yards, plus highlights from around the league and a look ahead to tomorrow's finale. It's all coming up right here on Yes. David Lowe takes over in left field. Alejandro De Alza moves from left to right. Delman Young is out of the game. And here is Gregorio Petit. Pinch hitting for Garrett Jones. He takes outside. Britton came on to get the final out of the eighth. Petit trying to tie it with that swing. Slow roller, third base. Machado, Fields, fires, got it.
He makes it look easy. When this is not really an easy play. Playing a little deeper than the bag. And a difference maker is the throwing arm that he has. Just a little underhand flip snap of the ball, and it gets across with authority.
He took his time. He was real deliberate fielding the ball because of that strong arm.
Here's Chris Young. Yankees a swing away from tying it. It's 4-3, top of the ninth inning. Slow roller, going to be a tough play. Britton Fields fires, got him. Pierce with a tough play, keeping his hand as the runner was bearing down, but he makes the play for the second out.
As you say that, Michael, Steve Pierce, the way Britton threw it from down under and the angle, it looked like it was going to hit Young. What's the timing here? A little squibber out front. Britton getting to it quickly, but that angle and what Pierce was seeing, wow.
Wow is right.
What's this here? Surprised it didn't hit him.
Well, you hear the boos in the background as we show you the replay, and that means that Alex Rodriguez is going to pinch hit for Stephen Drew.
Well, a lot of these Oriole fans came here for this sole purpose, and when Alex didn't start the game, They're going to let them have it. The only opportunity that they get this particular evening.
So A-Rod, the only Yankee to start the first 7 games, now will pinch hit here in game number 8. Not adept at pinch hitting, never has to do it much. 1 for 15 with 3 walks.
It's not an easy job, and the hitters that are good at pinch hitting, they're very special to have on your team. Britton is hard to get the ball in the air against. Heavy sinker.
Got good numbers against Britton, 5 for 9. And the 0-1. 1-1. Kenny mentioned yesterday, A-Rod likes hitting in this ballpark. Reads the seats fairly easily. 1-1. 2-1.
More home runs than any visiting player. 31 of them.
And the 2-1. Grounded to short. This should do it. Cabrera to Pierce. And the Orioles hang on and beat the Yankees 4-3. And the series is even at a game apiece with tomorrow night the rubber game. So Britton did the job. Came in to get a 4-out save. 4-out save. Final out of the 8th.